Okay, guys, so this is going to be a different type of video today. So, essentially, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give you a list of pros and cons when it comes to hostels, as well as like bust a few myths about them. Because, like everyone, initially, before I actually stayed in a hostel, I had my perceptions as well. I was a little bit cautious about it. So, essentially, like, if you're someone who likes to travel and you just like to be flexible, so you like to hop from place to place, you like to go to different countries if you can, or do national traveling, then staying in hostels is the best thing for you to do. Most hostels are fairly decent, if that makes sense. Like, depending on what hostel you go for, um, you could have a nice clean environment with friendly people and spacious, and everyone is just really you know on the same page. It depends on the level of hostel you go to too. In my personal experience, I've went to about 3, 4 hostels. Each of them have been amazing. Some of which I would arguably say is better than hotels, if I'm honest with you. You know, because I've actually stayed in apartments and hotels and stuff where you have to pay extra for every little thing. Whereas I've stayed in hostels where you get nice Wi-Fi, you get breakfast, and everything like that, and it's just a fraction of the price. You know, but yeah, so sounds silly, yeah, but a lot of people are very scared to stay in hostels, and it's because of the perception many of them have. Um, like female travelers, for example, I know quite a few female travelers that stay in hostels and they love it, but female travelers that haven't stayed in hostels, a lot of them are very cautious and they feel it's not safe, because they're surrounded by men that they don't know, and things along the line of that. So you could have hostels that have mixed dormitories. You could have hostels that have single gender dormitories, or you could have like single rooms. It just depends. But I always recommend staying in a mixed dormitory, just because you're able to meet and mingle with other people. Helps you make some travel buddies, and it's just an overall great experience. The females I spoke to that stay in hostels, they told me themselves that they don't even feel any sort of fear, and it's a great experience. It's mostly people that haven't done it that kind of have that cautious mentality. But from my personal experience, I don't think there's anything to really worry about. As long as you keep your wits about you and you're observant, and you're not too open with people, then you should be fine. you know but hostels aren't dangerous, not from what I've experienced. But obviously, I guess it depends on where you go. So I stayed in a hostel in Croatia, I stayed in a hostel in Istanbul, I stayed in a hostel in Antalya, and yeah, that's it. So just those 3 places, but each hostel was good to me, and I would definitely go back. And matter of fact, like, on my travels going forward, when I go to other countries, I'm gonna start hostel hopping a lot more as well. So, but anyways, let me get back to the main point. So yeah, hostels are good for that flexibility. Very, very cheap as well. I paid like as much as £6 a night in some hostels. Whereas hotels you're paying about £50 minimum, up to 100, depending on what it is, what star it is, and what facilities they have. Hostels are very cheap and you have everything included. Obviously not your lunch, dinner. Sometimes you get breakfast, but I mean you don't really need much else. I don't think, at least. So it's very cheap, very flexible, and it allows you to just be able to hop from place to place. If you want to stay in this area for one night, you can stay there. Then you can hop to the other side of the country, stay there. I think it's very good. Most hostels offer like transfer services to airports and things like that, if that's something you want as well. I always think it's better to do these things by yourself, but if that's something you're interested in, then why not go ahead for that option? Um, and yeah, hostels are good, man. Like, I've never felt threatened in a hostel. I've watched a lot of horror movies. Like, there's a horror series called Hostel. Yeah, if you watch that, then you're probably gonna be a bit cautious, especially in the Eastern European countries. But no, man, hostels are a great way to travel, and I recommend that personally myself. I've got nothing but good things to say about the hostels I've been to. As you'll see in the video in the background, you can see some of the facilities, and it's clean, it's well kept, there's nice people, and it's a nice way to make memories and bond with people as well. Have I met anyone from hostels? I spoke to a few people. I've never really hung out with anybody from hostels because I'm always passing through. I'm never staying that long. But I can imagine on my upcoming journeys, I'm gonna meet a lot of people through hostels. You know. But yeah, man. So overall, Hostels are great. I recommend it. Don't feel scared. Even as a woman, I don't think you should feel scared because it's a safe environment. The staff are there. If you ever feel anybody's harassing you or making you feel uncomfortable, you tell them. Everyone's just really just chilled out. I'm not saying there might not be dodgy characters around, but you should have that inkling about yourself. You should be a good judge of character and know better. So I personally would recommend hostels, and I don't think there's anything you should really be fearful of. But just be observant, and pick good hostels in good areas in good places, and that's what I would recommend. So to end it off, I suggest staying in hostels when you're traveling. If you don't want to spend a fortune on hotels and apartments and things like that, if you're someone who just prefers that leisure, that luxury, then go ahead and do that. But hostels are a good option for travelers, specifically solo travelers or backpackers or people who want to hop from place to place. So actual travelers, not just vacationers, but travelers. Hostels are definitely the best thing for you to do. Okay, guys. So I hope that was helpful and, I provided some value with that information. That's my experience, and I hope everybody else has a great experience with their hostel stays.